Hello guys, Model Rockets 321 here, back with another video. Today we are going to talk about decals and finishing rockets, especially weathering techniques and old decals. I recently ran into a situation where this rocket that I was restoring is a very old one, probably from the 80s, the early 80s if I'm not mistaken, could be mid 80s, but the decals were yellowed and just no good. In those situations, there's certain things you can do. You can restore them, or you could just have a whole new set made, which I recommend just getting a whole new set made. But I will go over what to do if you don't want to get a new set made, if you want to use the old ones. So we're going to take a look at some rockets right now in which the decals were very, very bad. And we're also going to look at some weathering techniques. And I'm just going to talk about that for a little bit. So let's go. So here's a look at my Federation Star Probe. It's all finished. The decals were the main issue that gave me problems. Not this Mylar, this foil one was really good. That one still stuck and everything was good, but all the water slides, they had a yellowing look to them, and I actually forgot to clear coat them before beginning. So the first one that I went to put on was the one that goes right behind the nose cone right here. Well, on the nose cone, just behind the canopy. I put that in and it busted apart immediately. It was old and I remembered, oh no, I forgot to clear coat them. And for clear coating, I didn't use this. I sprayed them. I thought that the spray clear coat would work, like the regular Krylon spray clear coat, which you can do to decals and it works. But for these, they just gave problems. They were too brittle, just cracked up. However, I made them work. I painstakingly put them together. Ones that after I clear coated them with the microscale, I went on and put them together on the rocket. As you can see, they're all here for the most part, except for the one that was behind the nose cone. I lost the other side of the canopy, so I wind up painting it in. As you can see, it's a little rough, but very difficult to do. You can see it looks very beat up. It gives it that old look. Which I'm fine with. I actually did some weathering on these vents, and I put some weathering, some paint. I just went in with paint and did a lot of additional work, but this is a very difficult thing to do, putting these, because they were all broken apart. And I mean, jigsaw puzzle. You can see cracks where I had to make sure I placed them well and laid them. Every one you see had to be split. Like this was broken apart. I put that together. Just a really difficult process that most people, once you see a label busting apart, a decal busting apart like that, you'll just want to toss it. I managed to save them and then give it an old look. Like I said, I put these little specks. I don't know if you can see these black and white little specks in there. That little star probe, that was part of the foil decal. That was part of this one. I added this foil ring on the end. I gave it that little silver, and I added this little silver right here just to break up some of the white. I don't know if you can see, but it came out really cool looking. I really like it. It's a long, skinny rocket, about 31 inches long, actually. So I'm going to be flying this real soon. I want to get it up in the air. I did some weathering, like hit little asteroids that have been shot, just little bruise there on the fin. And just did some more as if these vents were bleeding something and just splattering on there, turning it all black, like soot. So I didn't want to go overboard with this one. That's one thing about weathering, just little here and there, not overboard. Unless you want a really beat up looking ship, you can go with that. So that's the technique I use on this one, not going too far. And I used, for the black marks, I used flat black and flat white in some of the areas. Just going in with a Q-tip, the regular standard everyday cotton Q-tip. I'm trying to find one, you know what they look like. One of these, just not heavy, just little streaks. Just give it. And little flakes and the little marks like that is actually Sharpie. I use a little fine point Sharpie pen. Just go around touching it. You can see all those different little flakes, little marks, just as it's been through the galaxy. It's been, landing in this port, leaving that port, getting shot at, this, that, the other, whatever story you want to tell it. So that's what I did with this. Then I went in with the really light white, just muted the red down a little bit. You can see a little white inside the red. The colors are really good on the decal. They were just yellowing. Like I said, they were brittle. Like from all the years, it's just the film on the outer coat, on the outside of the decal, just got worn out. So that's the Federation Star Probe. Came out just like the package. But like I said, I had to do my weathering, give it an older look since the decals were already kind of beat. You can even see cracks where some parts are missing. Some are just stuck to the paper. It was a disaster. It was a disaster. But I managed to take my time and I saved it. saved most of the original decals and used them. Because I just didn't want to order a set. Thanks to Don. Don reached out to me and asked me that I want a set. He will work on them for me. But I said, that's okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's good knowing you have somebody there that's down to help you out. And Tango Papa, I'm pretty sure I could have got a set. Now let's take a look at this guy right here. I showed this before. It's my Starship Vega. Did more weathering, did more re-entry weathering as if it would land like that, similar to SpaceX. And I did some bruises here as if it's been shot or shot at again on the end. This is all flat black, and I went back and clear coated it. These decals, I actually tore holes in them. I just took my time, give it some rips and tears, give it a really unique look. I really like the way this one turned out. A lot of dirt and a lot of grime. Not overboard though. This is the way I think they should be. Not overboard when it comes to weathering. Unless you want a ship that looks just beat. Now I'm going to show you an example of a very beat one. That would be my X-Wing, my Maxi Brute X-Wing fighter. This one I went beyond. Like, it's not too far out of range. Just gave it some shots. It's been shot at. I don't want to make sure I don't hit one of these guys back here. Let me move you over. This is a very brittle rocket. I've flown it once, kind of retired it now, and the R2 is not done, but just went in with some silver and did the engine parts up top. Just went all along. You can see all the bruising and all the marks on this one. And I just took my time, went in there, did some panel lines, because these things are very detailed, the real ones. I mean, the model kits you can get have way more details than this one. I just went and added a lot more on my own. And this actually had broke before. This is a very brittle, it's a fragile model. Like, that's why I only flew in it once. I'm just afraid something's going to happen to it, and I really don't want to, don't want to have to deal with too many repairs. On the first flight, it actually landed hard, and it busted apart along these seams, and I got that fixed. But this is an example of kind of, for me, heavy weathering, and, just been out there, just in the galaxy, just getting neglected. So that's what you want to do. You don't want to, it's up to you though. It's up to the look that you want when it comes to weathering. Just go in there with some of the real fine tools. Like I said, use Q-tips and things like that to get in there. Edges of a sponge. Like these guys right here, these sponge brushes, if you tear a piece off, like sponge actually give you a really nice look for dabbing paint and going in and doing little markings and stuff like that. So you should try it out on your own if you ever want to weather a model. But like I said, not overboard. Like, I didn't go overboard with this, but it also depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a beaten down old starship that want to fly, you can do that. This one, like I said, I took it easy. It has its marks, it has its dings, but not too many. And on the Federation, I went with, more speckling and little, you can see black dots and things like that. Just an old worn ship, old ship that been flying around. Got that silver section there and just when did it. But the tail, this piece was really nice. This decal worked out really well. And it has this little piece here, like it came with it. This is part of the build. I added this foil around here, just gave it a nice look. And I put all this foil up front. I added too, all this shiny. I added all that also. Added all that myself. But went really well. I'm happy with the build. Going to fly that one really soon. And next up, I want to show you guys is an old decal. So that's the one thing I'm gonna tell you. If you buy old kits, this is the Fire Arrow. I believe it was called Fire Arrow. Somebody put the pronunciation there. I forget who. It's this old kit right here, an old Estes kit. These are the decals now. I'm planning on building this one, but I'm going to clear coat these decals again because they seem to be fine, but I got a feeling they may want to break apart. They're perfectly flat. They could be good. They're not as yellow as the Federation Star Probe. But I just got a feeling when they hit water, they curl up, and then it creates these cracks, these split that you saw in my other decals. Even with this X-Wing, these decals were a nightmare also. I had to really work with them. You can see them breaking apart. I just make it work. I just took my time and pulled them out of there and out of the water and placed them. I mean, I'm using like X-Acto knife to place them. I'm using these little forceps tweezers. Just being real gentle because they want to tear up. So if you can get a set of decals made, you want to avoid all that nightmare. If you don't have the patience, just get a new set. If you get an old rocket, just know if you get an old rocket, clear coat, micro scale, clear coat them, let it dry, clear coat again, and even once you place them on there, dab a little bit more of this on there, because when it dries, it'll pull the decals close to the body. I noticed that, like, once you get the decal on, put a little around the edges, it'll lay it down flat. So this micro scale stuff is pretty good. It's a liquid decal film. Restores old decals, make custom decals, ultra thin film. So just lay it on really thin and let it dry, and you should be good from there. So that's what I have to say about old decals, old kits that you might buy. Watch out for the decals. Just watch out, because they're going to be, it's a good chance that they can tear up on you and you'll have to get a new set. And you can get them. Everything's available these days pretty much. You can get whatever you need, you know, Tango Papa and whoever else, unless you can make your own. I used to make a lot of my own decals. So there you go with the X-Wing. Now I'm going to show you, let me move these guys out the way. Yeah, I think he'll be okay. So next up, you guys remember Alpha 1 restored. It wasn't Alpha 3. I just turned it into an Alpha 1. So I did my upscale. Here's the upscale. The upscale is done. It's okay. The body lines are filled. Everything is fine. But this paint, this red paint, it was just a nightmare. I gave it several days to dry. It felt dry, but when I put my plastic bag, I did my masking, it just gave it a funky look. Even the black, like I thought the black was well and good. Except for this stripe, that's good, and this cone is good. But wherever I had to mask, wherever it touched plastic on there, I'm guessing it's just the humidity, and it wasn't too dry, even though it's Arizona, it's not too humid. But this is my upscale Alpha 1. I'm happy with it overall, other than the little blemishes on the, it's a flyer, sport model, so I'm gonna just let it do its thing. And here's the original size, and there's the upscale. So there we go. I did my Alpha 1, and I got the baby one, and now I got a big one. So that is what I have for today, guys. Model Rocks 321. Be sure to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. I'm going to probably build this fire arrow here soon. Federation Star Probe is done. That's going to be in the air like very soon. Like there should be a new video coming with some launches and stuff like that. So Federation Star Probe, you can see it says it right there. Or it's the World Federation Star Probe. Let me say it right. World Federation Star Probe. And that's Model Rocks 321 for today. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and watch other videos on this channel. And feel free to share this. Share it in the Facebook group, share it with your friends. Anybody who want to get into Rockstreet, share. All right, guys. Model Rocks 3, 2, 1.